Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost unbelievable. Just seconds after taking off on its journey to London Gatwick, an Air India flight has plummeted into a densely populated residential area. At least 290 people are dead, and yet, miraculously, the passenger in seat 11A managed to walk away from the wreckage. This fateful Air India flight, bound for London, took off from Ahmedabad's international airport in the state of Gujarat. Just seconds later, it suddenly lost altitude, then crashed just outside the airport's perimeter. A huge plume of black smoke billowed into the sky. People from across this city of 5 million, shocked, quickly took out their phones, recording the first images of a horrific tragedy that has shaken all of India. One eyewitness recounted, "I was at home when I suddenly heard a loud noise, just like a thunderstorm. When I ran outside, smoke was everywhere. We had no idea it was a plane crash. We didn't know what was happening at all. It wasn't until we came out here that we realized the terrible truth." The scene is utterly devastating. Part of the plane is lodged firmly into a building. The tail fin, bearing the Air India emblem, ripped off and discarded. Beneath charred trees, blackened debris litters the streets. Personal belongings, somehow, still almost intact. There were 242 people on board, including 11 children. 169 of the victims were Indian nationals, and at least 53 were from Britain. Rescue workers and local residents joined hands, desperately clearing the rubble, searching for survivors. And incredibly, amidst all this devastation, there was one. Indian television showed this man, in a white shirt, walking away from the crash site. They say he's British passenger, Vishwash Kumar Ramsh. He was seated in 11A, an exit row. Now he lies in hospital, greeted by India's Interior Minister, having also spoken to his family back in the UK. His relative recounted, "When the plane crashed, he video called my dad saying, 'Oh, the plane's crashed. I'm not sure how I..." He was confused and everything. He was like, "I can't see my other brother. I don't see any other passengers or anything." One miraculous survivor, but police have said more than 290 people have been killed. That would include nearly all of those on board, as well as dozens on the ground. Because the plane crashed into a residential neighborhood, hitting a hostile housing medical students. According to air traffic control at Ahmedabad Airport, Air India Flight 171 departed at 1:39 local time. It then gave a Mayday call. Flight radar said the signal was lost just seconds after takeoff, when the plane was at 625 feet. It crashed in the area of Mani Nagar, just south of the airport, hitting several buildings that were part of the BJ Medical College. It's around these properties that the focus has been for the rescue teams, as this city deals with one of the worst airline disasters in years. In 2010, an Air India Express flight came down in Mangalore, killing 158 people. Back then, the airline was under government control and was criticized for mismanagement and huge debts. It was taken over by the Tata Group 3 years ago in a bid to revamp the carrier. Today's disaster will once again raise troubling questions, as well as for Boeing. The aircraft was a 787 Dreamliner. This is the first time this model has been involved in a crash. India's government has promised a full inquiry. An official stated, "We are going to do a fair and thorough investigation. We are not going to spare anyone. We are not going to leave any stone unturned. We'll do it properly, according to the protocol, and we are going to get to the depth of why this incident has happened. That much I can tell you now." For now, a shocked city and nation are coming to terms with a huge loss of life, and many families in the UK too are anxiously awaiting news, knowing that while there has been one survivor, he is the rare exception. Now, the plane was supposed to land at Gatwick in the last hour, but of course, never made it there. Our correspondent Francis Reed is at Gatwick Airport for us now. Francis? MC listens to Francis' report. Yes, Gatwick Airport has set up a reception center for the relatives of those on board. And actually, just in the last few minutes, we've seen people starting to lay flowers here as well, near the runway at Gatwick Airport as well. People just really wanting to pay their respects. No Air India flights are arriving or departing here from Gatwick Airport. We had a look at the desks earlier, and all of the Air India flights are closed. Those desks are closed at the moment. The Foreign Office has set up crisis teams in India and London, and there are dedicated phone lines to help. And here's what the Prime Minister had to say in the last hour. I speak for the entire country in saying our thoughts are with each and every one of those involved. There will be British and Indian families across the land who are absolutely impacted by this, and our thoughts, first and foremost, are with them. Obviously, the investigation is ongoing. We've dispatched an investigation team that's being deployed. The Foreign Secretary is leading on this and will obviously update as soon as we can. Meanwhile, the King has said in a statement that he is desperately shocked. He said, "Our special prayers and deepest possible sympathy are with the family and friends of all those affected by this appallingly tragic incident across so many nations." At the same time, the UK Air Accidents Investigation Branch has formally offered its assistance to investigators in India. Francis, thank you very much there. Francis at Gatwick Airport. Well, earlier I spoke to the aviation expert, Dr. Vandana Singh, and I started by asking her for her reaction to the crash. She shared, "It has indeed been a very exhausting day, a very tragic day for us here in India, where so many souls, so many lives have been lost. And the ripple effect and the multiplier effect on the families that are affected is humongous." She also added that the aircraft, when it crashed, went on to hit a medical college, where they believe about 39 or 40 students are injured and a couple dead. "Of course," she said, "we are trying to retrieve the black box, which should not be a problem because it's embedded inside. The tail is embedded inside one of the buildings, and we know that the black box is at the tail end, and the flight data recorder is going to reveal a lot of facts." One crucial point Dr. Singh raised is the possibility of a total. When I asked if this was very bad news for the aircraft manufacturer, Boeing, since a Dreamliner has never had an accident like this before, any kind of accident, Dr. Singh agreed, "You are right. And the Dreamliner 787 has got a very robust history. It has got a very healthy history. And it is a very safe equipment by Boeing to fly. And everybody loves to fly this aircraft. This is the latest generation aircraft, and this doesn't have these problems. Because when there are these issues, then there are backups. And backups have their own backups, as we know that. So therefore, something has catastrophically gone wrong over here." Another detail pointed out from social media footage is that the flaps are flat when they should be pointing down so that the aircraft can get an upward lift. Dr. Singh commented, "This is very, very unusual. And this question is definitely coming into everybody's mind, every expert who's looking into it, every pilot who's looking into it, who flies a Dreamliner, for that matter. 3 pilots have been already interviewed, and this is questionable, why the flaps were the way they were. But then the question is that before this could happen, you have so many warning signals that are given. Then why did the pilot even take off? How could even the aircraft take off in such a situation?" And finally, when asked about the likelihood of anyone surviving a crash like this, let alone walking away wounded like the man from seat 11A, Dr. Singh exclaimed, Exactly. It's a miracle. It is a miracle. Because aviation fuel can be grueling, and that just chars you up because it's more potent than kerosene, as we know that. And this was a fully loaded flight taking off for London. It is indeed a miracle. Okay, we'll leave it there. Dr. Vandana Singh, thank you very much for your time. We will, of course, continue to update you on this developing story.